and welcome back to the channel. As some of you may know, Ricky Wysocki has officially left Dynamic Discs. This is going to be a big shift for Dynamic. Unfortunately, I believe that they tried to overcompensate for the disc golf boom that occurred around 2020 with the influx of players. You had the PDGA getting more people registering and playing tournaments than ever. The sport was simply booming and growing in 2022, 2020, and Ricky Wysocki was playing some really good disc golf at the time. In 2022, he ended up being the points leader for the season. And Ricky had been just chasing down tournaments left and right. So at the time in 2022, it seemed like for Dynamic Discs that Ricky Wysocki was worth the investment. And so I was looking at the Ulti World article. I recall reading this a few years back that Ricky Wysocki signed a 4-year, $4 million deal. And at the time, this had matched other elite level player, Paul McBeth. I feel like the disc golf world was shaken when people found out that Discraft was going to be offering $1 million a year to Paul McBeth. And at the time, that was the highest paying disc golf contract from a manufacturer that had happened. And so for Ricky Wysocki to match that, what Discraft had done with Paul McBeth, was huge for Ricky's career. And not to mention that he also got a $250,000 signing bonus that was paid out through Bitcoin. And so we'll get to that in a little minute. But I was just astounded as I was reading through this article about, Ricky's deal. I hadn't even processed at the time that it was the same amount of money year to year as Paul McBeth, which was absolutely shocking to me. And so I was curious about what that $250,000 investment in Bitcoin would look like today. And so Ricky signed the contract on January 4th of 2022. So let's go ahead, take a look at what the closing price of Bitcoin was on January 4th of 2022. So let's see, it was a little bit down for the day, but closing price January 4th was $45,926.76. The current price here, I'm not going to refresh. I already ran the numbers kind of based off this, but the market's still open. Market hadn't closed yet today. It's still not going to close. It's crypto. But the current price of Bitcoin is about $102,342.80. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that would be. And so if Ricky, he did January 4th, he was, that $250,000 investment was put into Bitcoin at the purchase price of $45,926.76, and the sale price, if he were to sell today, right? If he were to sell today, I mean, Ricky's just going to keep, why wouldn't you sit on this? Why wouldn't you sit on an investment like $250,000 in Bitcoin in 2022? It'd be ridiculous to sell now. But if he were to sell now, he would, if he were to sell now, the 250 with the sell price at 102,342, the total outcome would be $557,000, which is astronomical. And so it was $557.98. I mean, that is 122.8-ish% gain. That is absolutely awesome. And so for Ricky to make over $300,000, he made 307 off of that to date, just to now, which is amazing. Gotta love seeing the returns. I know that Ricky was happy with that. And another interesting fact about the deal was that it was $1 million a year guaranteed, and it could have been up to $2 million a year based on how the discs sales were for Dynamic Discs. And it was also another interesting point that the Saki Bomb line came out right as everybody was expecting. But then something that was new that kind of caught me by surprise were the Supreme Series discs. And so I believe they started out with the Supreme Escape. That was one of their first Supreme drops. They had the Supreme Trespass, the Judge, the Truth, and they may have had a couple more. I personally enjoyed the Supreme Series discs. For me, they just beat it a little too quickly, kind of similar to a few of Dynamic's other offerings as well. But interesting disc, maybe a little bit better for the cold weather. But as far as Ricky Wysocki, I'm curious as to what the future is going to be. It has been an insane off season with so many pros. I feel like half the disc golf world is going to Discraft. And so, will Ricky go to Discraft? Will he go to Discmania? I don't know. But drop your comments below. Let me know where you think he's going to go. What are your thoughts on the situation? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.